Hello everyone, welcome to part 3 on our series of Beechcraft 60, the lovely black square Duke here. As your destination is just off the nose there, Bradley National Airport, so we're making a nice gentle descent in here. Now we had a heck of a tailwind during our descent here, so unfortunately because of that, we're a little high. So the puzzle now becomes, how are we going to get down? And this is one of the greatest things about turbine aircraft, is if I'm going to come down faster, all I got to do is grab my throttle and pull it to 0. That's it. And the nice thing is you'll notice I'm pulling about 100 pounds-feet of torque on both sides here, and we're slowing down to basically nothing. So now if I want to increase my rate of descent, I can just click that a few times. Now the problem we're going to face is you notice we've been slowly depressurizing from our last video, but we have so much differential pressure basically stored up here that we can get away with coming down pretty hard without doing anything to the ears of our passengers, which is kind of one of the nice little kind of quirks there. Again, it's a nice little perk that we have in this particular aircraft. So I'm going to enjoy my little descent right here. Like I said, you don't really get to do this on a lot of different airplanes. So, of course, the weather, it's not so great at Bradley. It's been a little windy. As a matter of fact, I'm going to take a couple moments to go ahead and check the weather there. We'll go to 118.15 there. We're going to go ahead and swap that over. Again, we're using a kind of fancy avionics. This is the expensive plane, so I get to use the fancy avionics in it. So go ahead and dial that in real quick. We're going to go ahead and turn that audio on, and I'm drawing a blank on that for a moment there. It's one of those things where I did it the other day, and you forget what button you push, but I'm not going to worry about it too much. One cool thing that I could do here, of course, is I don't have audio on anyway, so 279 at 8. Perfect. So that actually works pretty well for me. 279 at 8 means runway 24, which is going to be this runway right here we're going to be landing on today. So we're coming in pretty good position. Our air cabin, you notice, is perfectly warm here, which you probably saw at the end of last video, is one of the things we had done is basically heated this cabin up. And again, what I'm actually going to do is I'm going to crack one of those and basically close it. The outside air temperature here at Connecticut is pretty warm, so I'm actually going to go ahead and shut both of those off because it's going to get really hot in here really fast. And I'm actually going to pop this off and just pop it over to blower here. There's our altitude alerter giving us a quick little heads up that we're about to cross that point, and you can just about see that we're crossing the desired altitude at the desired destination. Nice. Good job, everyone. High fives and hand claps all around. So this aircraft is going to cool off pretty smoothly. Let's go ahead and bring some power back in here. I'm going to go ahead and flip it over to automatic. By automatic, I meant manual. And we're just going to enjoy our nice little kind of cruise here. Go ahead and get a little bit of tabbing in. And it's a good time to start thinking about all of your chores for landing this thing. Now, the nice thing is you don't have to worry about shock cooling this aircraft like you do with the other turbine version of this, which makes your life a little bit simpler. The downside is you are a turboprop airplane. So when you do come in for landings, you're going to have to earn it, and that's kind of what I like to say. So I'm just going to kind of cruise right over the top. We got an 1,800-foot limit here. Technically, we're Class A, though, so we don't need 18. We can go down to 1,200. But again, we'll just kind of keep up here for a second here, enjoying the nice little view right over the center of the airport here. And then we're going to swing ourselves into a lovely left downwind. It's going to be kind of a late downwind to 2-4. We could even do a sparkling downwind or something like that if we wanted to, depending kind of on the general goal or achievement. Now, one trick that I really appreciate about this aircraft, which works great, is you can put your wheels down pretty much any time once you get underneath 150, let's see here, it looks like 100, oh my god, 175 knots. That's fantastic. So with the wheels down, this aircraft slows down very smoothly and very quickly. I'm looking out the window there, just get myself all kind of lined up. Do about 1,200 feet there. I'm going to lift my nose up. Go ahead and click a flaps there. Everything's looking pretty good. We're getting a little altitude alerter. Nose in this is a little bit heavier, I found, than our traditional version there. Again, my wings get a nice little wiggle. We can start our little descent here. Whoa, getting pushed all over Connecticut here. Just part of the fun, as they like to say. All right, nose is looking good. We want to stay right around 98 knots. Unfortunately, that didn't really change much for us, which made it pretty easy. Yeah, I'm looking for about the 45-degree angle there. I'm looking at my window, looking pretty good. We're going to go ahead and dirty up the plane. Dirty airplane. I'm so bad sometimes. And we're going to go ahead and go base the final here and enjoy a nice little approach. And you can see the thing wants to climb as soon as those flaps goes down. So you really do have to keep the nose down. When you first buy this plane, by the way, your default view is going to look like this kind of a thing. And it's very difficult to fly like that. I find it's better to reset it and just lower your seat kind of like I have here. It just makes it a lot easier to kind of just sort of get yourself lined up. We're nice and high. Again, we're a turbine. We can pull our power out, just kind of push the nose down if we want to fix that. And that's basically what I'm trying to achieve here. Looks good. We're getting about a little slow. Remember, turbines are slow. We're going to go ahead and go up to full RPM. Remember, watch out for that surge. It's going to happen if you jam on it too hard. So again, about 98 knots. Again, you'll find the speed almost more controllable than the piston version. But you have to remember the throttle and everything is a lot slower. It's just the turbine thing. And there we go. We're about a click high is roughly what we're at right now, which isn't too bad. There's lovely runway 24. Whoa, that turbulence off the end of the runway is a pretty Connecticut today. Again, it's been a bit breezy. Nice day, though. Like a really nice day. We're going to have to open up the air conditioner controls again in a second because it's getting so bumpy here. Whoa! Good morning to you, too, sir. All right, so let's go ahead and make our way down. Doing about 198-ish. Again, that's fine. Looking a little high. We like to drift. It's just kind of part of the fun. All right, looking pretty good there. Oh, we got a bit of a crosswind, naturally. All right, looking pretty solid. I'm loving the smoothness. Oh, yeah, this is it. Runway 24, I can't wait to be home. It's been such a long day. Toronto was wonderful, and we're going to go around. So I'm going to go ahead and smoothly apply 75% throttle, and I'm just going to let the nose come up a little bit. We're going to get up one click of flaps immediately, and we're just going to let it kind of cruise here for a second. We do not want to exceed maximum torque, so make sure you keep a very close eye on that when you do this procedure. We're looking positive rate of climb, so I'm going to go ahead and bring up that last click of flaps, and we're going to go ahead and hold about 130 knots here. So one of the things you have to be very mindful with this one is it is fantastically easy to over-torque the engines on a go-around in this one. You're not going to have that problem in the turbocharged version of this. It's much simpler. But one of the nice things is it's relatively easy to fly a regular traffic pattern here. So again, I'm going to reduce my torque a little bit here, get that nose back down to a more reasonable position. I'll go ahead and lower myself just a little bit here. Oh, that was fun. Look at that. We're doing 140 knots, and I haven't done anything yet. So we'll go ahead and fly the traffic pattern a little bit more carefully this time. So we're just going to go ahead and pop ourselves into that downwind for runway 24 there. Again, you just have to be very gentle. Like, you can't just stomp on it. That's just kind of one of those things that, like, when I was first learning this plane way back, and I think it was actually Flight Simulator 10 is the one I was learning this plane on, is that you just have to be careful with it because it's very easy to stand on that power like you're used to on the other one, and you over-rev the engines when you do that. You're going to over-torque the engines when you do that. You just have to be really careful of that, and that's kind of the trap there, and that's the one I always like to kind of not catch people on, but it's just one more thing that you have to worry about as a pilot, because we don't have enough to worry about already. All right, go ahead and fix my angle of attack a little bit. We're a little bit nose up here, but that's perfectly fine. You're going to get stuff like that all the time. Looks pretty good to me. I'm going to go ahead and get my landing gear down. I'm going to bring my first click of flaps. And the nice thing is when you're in the traffic pattern, it gives you time to get everything kind of ready to go if you give yourself kind of the benefit of this. It looks pretty good there. Again, I'm a little fast, but nothing bad. 120 is fine, the pattern. I do 100 when I'm down in Hartford just because you have the room. Or you don't have the room, you really can't get up to speed too much. All right, just take a look. Wheels are down. Like I said, I like to put my wheels down earlier if I'm doing traffic pattern stuff. I like to put my wheels down later if I'm doing an instrument approach. That's generally just kind of how I do it. There's the beam of the numbers there. You can see right off the edge there. All right, we'll go ahead and start a descent. I'm going to bring in my next click of flaps. And we're just going to nose down. Again, it's going to want to lift on you, so you have to hold the nose down. Hold it down. Good nose. Good nose. And all we're going to do is, again, enjoy the lovely turbulence we have here today. But hey, I did a realistic flight just for kind of fun. Whoa! How are we doing for temperature here? It's actually pretty warm in here. Yeah, that's already off, right? Yeah, it's off. I probably should be playing with that when I'm trying to land the plane, but you know how these things go. All right, left turn, coffin corner. Make sure your power is high enough. You don't want to lose an engine and then go crashing. Remember, you can always push the nose down if you get slow. And we came up a little bit wider here, so that's perfectly fine. Oh, I know that building. I know where that is. And we're over Bloomfield. All right. Oh, South Windsor. Looks pretty good. Again, I'm just kind of crouched down. We're a little low, so I'm actually going to bring in a little bit of power here to kind of correct us. That wind is a little bit stronger than I anticipated, but hey, that's part of the fun. Speed looks good to me. Inside-out maneuver, if you remember back from flight school days. Looks pretty good there. I'm just going to square it off. Looks pretty good. All right, swing ourselves to final. We're going to get a last click of flaps in. Landing gear is down. One thing you do want to do is, I didn't do this before, is I'm going to flip on my ice deflector. And again, we want to do that just for the purposes of keeping any of the stuff on the ground out of the airplane. All right, or out of the engines, really. So let's go ahead and enjoy my nice little descent here. We've got about 110, 105. We're a little tiny bit high, which is fine. There we go. We're basically perfect now. I just got to pull the nose up and get rid of the last couple knots of speed here. There we go. Nice. Delightful. Whoa! That turbulence is actually pretty bad. Oil doors are all set. Ice door is on. Deflector's good. What we're going to be using today is we're going to be using full reverse. Full reverse gets us stopped quickly. Generally, you wouldn't want to do this for this particular runway because by the time we get the thing stopped, we're going to have to go all the way down the runway again to basically get ourselves back in position. It's kind of lame, but for the purposes of the demonstration, we'll go through the process kind of thing. All right, we're doing our Giphy check. We're going to do gear, initial separator, flaps, yaw damper. We don't have yaw damper, but if we did, we did. All right, we're going to pull our throttle all the way to 0, and we're just going to coast in. This is definitely a coast in kind of plane. You can see that last couple bit of knots, and we're just going to hold it. Ooh, Got a bit of a crosswind. And we're just going to enjoy the nice gentle set down. We're going to push full reverse. Make sure the front wheel is down before you can go in reverse. Oh, again, I'm not pressing the brake. I'm just pressing reverse. And come out of reverse. Release the reverse, and we're going to go ahead and switch to beta range here. I didn't even touch the brakes once. So now we're clear. So I'm going to go ahead and clean up the airplane. Landing lights are off. Click, click, click. And now we're going to go ahead and pop over to the side here and kind of enjoy it. Nice. Very, very, very nice. Lovely plane. And again, you can see here that now we're on the ground. We can actually get the air conditioning going, kind of help us out. Again, pay attention to what you're doing. Otherwise, you're going to end up going right off the runway, kind of a thing like that. Nice. That was very, very nice. So what we're going to do is we're going to pretend that we're going to be pulling off here and kind of going through the shutdown process here. Relatively simple in this aircraft as well. You're not going to be going battle with anything. And I can't believe it actually saved that because it didn't save that before. Oh, well, my bad. Let's go sneak over here. We'll pretend this is my parking spot. And it looks pretty good to me. You don't have to hit the brakes very hard on this one. You can just pop it into that lower range. Just go ahead and tap the brakes there. All right, shutdown procedure on this one is quite a snap. Really no difficulty as far as getting that thing. The important thing is, remember, you have very, very expensive systems here, so we kind of got to be mindful of it. Let's see here. Is this thing actually cooling me off, or is it like pretending? Our RPM's down too low. It's not cooling me off very well. Oh, well, again, we could flip that to max if we wanted to. So we're going to go ahead and kill that. I'm just going to confirm that this door goes ahead and closes. That's what we want it to do. Just give it kind of a moment there. No, when we're seated, when this thing goes down. Pressurization's good. I can actually dump if I wanted to, but the valve's already closed itself, so I'm not too worried about it. So we're going to go ahead and shut some switches off. We want to reduce as much electrical load as possible before we get to the next step here. All this stuff is good. All this stuff is good. So what I'm going to do is pop off the inverter and the master avionics switch. So we're just running with engines right now. You're going to get about 100 warnings here. I like to close everything that's open. Again, that's perfectly fine for me. And we can close these two guys real quickly. Again, just for the purpose of shutting down. Don't do that on sand, please. And all you're going to do is you're going to grab onto the condition, and you're going to pull it to 0. And what's going to happen is you're going to get a little pop-up from Microsoft Flight Simulator to remind you that you completed a flight. So what we're waiting for is everything to kind of spool down. It's only going to take a few moments here. Like I said, depending on how much fuel is left in the system is kind of going to determine it. What we're really looking for here is interstage turbine temperatures dropping, which I can see on both sides. I can see the propeller RPMs dropping on both sides. And you can look out the window and actually watch it spool itself down. I'm just going to secure all my switches real quickly here. That looks good. That looks good. That looks good. These are all off. This is pretty good to go. So next thing what we need to do is we need to come over to the battery master. We're going to go like that. A lot of times what they'll do is they'll flip it over to a battery 2. We're going to disengage both generators. We don't need either of those right now. As soon as you do that, of course, all of your lights are going to be popping off instantaneously because there's nothing powering them. Our battery's disengaged. And this is always a good habit, too, just to make sure when you turn the battery on later, you can determine whether or not it still works. Enjoy.